What's up, team? Coach G here, and it's our final week. Now, obviously, this week seemed to be a bit busy, so we weren't able to catch up for our group run. And obviously, we've got the run on the weekend for everyone across the country. That's going to be pretty cool. So, what we're going to do today, team, is we are going to do some prehab. We'll call it prehab because we're not needing rehab, hopefully. All you need today is one of these, and we're going to take you through a bit of a 15 to 20 minute stretch piece that I like to do on a regular basis, actually, just to look after my hips, my knees, my ankles, and my lower back specifically. So the idea of today is we want to manipulate our tissue, all right, to force it to recover faster. So if you've been hitting the pavement a lot over the last few weeks or months, your tissues will be uber tight, right? They would have done a lot of extra volume of work, and we want to try and teach them to recondition themselves, all right? And the way we're going to do that is we're going to use a bit of manipulation, okay, a bit of trigger point therapy. So we're going to start with this. Make sure it's a nice hard water bottle, and we're going to go straight downstairs into our calf muscle. Put it on this one so you can see it. All right, so all I've done there is I've stacked one foot on top of the other, and whoa, we are in the business right there, right? So if you've done a lot of hill work, been picking up your speed, your calves, your Achilles are going to be uber tight. So what you're going to do is just going to pick three spots along there. See if you can manipulate it both ways, all right? Medial, lateral, and then apply as much pressure as you can handle, basically. The more pressure, the better. All you're effectively doing is you're pushing blood flow into that area. You're opening up capillaries that maybe haven't received as much blood over the last few while. And that forces that tissue to repair. So it becomes stronger. And you can get better work out of the tissue. All right, pick another spot, sort of start to come up into the center of your calves. Same thing. If you're brave enough, cross one leg over the other. If you're really brave, pick your hips up. Ooh, baby, that is the business. Yuck. And then all the way up to the top. Lateral, medial, grimy. And do exactly the same on the other side. Stack one over the top. Both sides. Just manipulating those calves. Find a bit of a ropey bit. Spend some time on it. Start to move your way up to the middle of the calves. Brave enough, pick that body weight up. It's the magic. Oh, really good if you've just done hill work straight after that. If you want to get your calves back in working order. Yucky. Okay, once you've had enough of that torture, place that off to the side and just pick an ankle that you want to work on. And we're just going to go 2 thumbs. So we're going to spend a bit of time in here, all right, just inside that soleus, the Achilles complex, behind the ankle, 2 thumbs down in there, and just start to move that up and down. Not moving very far, all right, you're just trying to get into that gap between the big heel cord, Achilles, all right, and manipulate that as much as you can. Trying to free it up or unlock it. When you're doing a lot of running, you'll notice in behind the back of the ankles and your calves, they just get uber tight. They're supposed to. It's what they're supposed to do. It's supposed to be nice and reactive. Give you a nice toe off. good spring, but they need love too, just like the rest of your body. I'm just doing one thumb here and just working my way up my ankle, trying to free up my Achilles. This is the one I broke, so it's pretty tight in there, lumpy. It's not feeling like a normal Achilles as opposed to this one, which feels way softer. Right, so if it is feeling good in there, awesome. That's the way it should feel, nice and soft, ready for action. Check up here too, this is a soleus connection. That's another junction point in your lower leg that can get pretty ropey. See, interesting, like this one's really tight up here, but that one's really tight down there. Different loading patterns. Good down the bottom. Right, let's take this a little bit further, guys, into the knees. So you're going to grab this. And from here, we're going to go down onto our tummy. Actually, I'll put it on the outside so you can see. And then just above, about 3 to 4 inches above your knee, you're going to start to squeeze your quad tight and then relax. And then to see if you can let your body weight, your leg sink into the water bottle. All right, hopefully using a nice steel water bottle, not one of those spongy other ones. Right, don't be too nice to yourself. And then, so this is for our VMO and our quadriceps. That's the lower part of our thigh. So we don't want the quadriceps getting too tight, otherwise they'll start to pull on the patella. They can create issues for us at the knee, so we don't want to avoid that. And then from here, what you're going to do is you're going to turn side on, move down about 1 inch above the knee. Do the same thing again. Ready? Squeeze and relax. And when you relax, just let your leg go dead. Just sink on top of that water bottle. And just telling the hypertension, right? Hypertension is when you overload a set of muscles in your body too much, and they become kind of semi or permanently tensive. And it's not that they're fully contracted, it's just that they're partially contracted most of the time. And that can create fatigue in that area of your body. It can create injuries in that area of your body, and it can create bad orthopedics, right? Bad postural patterns or mechanics when you're running. So you always want to get your tissues back to full functionality. I always go, like, if you want to feel what a muscle should feel like all the time, you can go like this on your bicep. Your biceps, and it feels nice and soft, right? Because your bicep hangs off your shoulder. It's got gravity's doing nothing to it. So it always feels relatively soft. You can make all of your muscles feel like that if you teach them to relax properly. But obviously we're on our legs every day, so they get overworked quite a bit, and then we don't stretch enough, and then we don't swim enough, we don't do enough sauna, all the things. We're mobilizing on foam rollers, so naturally the tissues just get yuck. All right, just finish here with a side-to-side action across that VMO. Magic. If you have got any sort of knee complaints at the moment and you're doing this, you may feel it shoot down into your knee. It's not a bad thing. It's just releasing losers. Okay, let's do the same to the outside. Right, so from here, squeeze the leg tight, just pointing straight down. I'm about 3 or 4 inches above my knee, and then relax. Let that leg go dead. Basically giving your quad as much weight as you can handle. You really do the same thing to the inside. Remember, you're trying to get into this tissue here. So I'm going to squeeze, down, squeeze, and relax. And just give all of your weight to your water bottle. Yuck. You ready? Let's go across the front and in to their VMO, just rolling side to side. Oh yeah, that's really tricky. Yeah, good stuff. Come back and get the quad stretch in a second. But let's finish off with one more with this today. So normally I use a tennis ball for this. Up in here, you have something called your TFL, right? So it's more to the front capsule of your hip. Right, so you got your big glutes behind, and then in here, tensor fasciae lata. When you're picking your knees up and down all the time, what you might find is that tensor fasciae lata, or the front of your hips, gets really tight. There's a few series of muscles in there that we need to look after, but we're going to go get that tensor fasciae lata with this one. So I'm going to put this basically where my pocket is, right there. All right, so I need to control the angle of my body with this one. And that is a come to Jesus moment. That's one part of the body that doesn't get a lot of love. All right, if you are brave enough, you're just moving up and down 2 to 3 inches. It's not a big piece of tissue. All right, trying to keep it on the spot, on the money spot, on the crease of the hips. If you can't find it, all right, find the point of your hip, go down 3 inches and across. So literally where the top of my pocket is where the tensor fasciae lata lives. They're really tight. Been doing a lot of standing up, or you've been sitting down in chairs a lot. TFL gets pretty yucky. It's like the hip flexors. Same thing with the psoas. All right, if you're always in flexed hips, or if you're always in a standing position for long periods, those tissues just get incredibly tight. They don't like it. Right? They like to move through ranges, like to be challenged. And if we're not doing that, you're getting stiffer. You don't want to get stiffer. And that is magic. Okay, let's do the same thing to the other side. Feels like a big piece of rope. It really is a big piece of rope, a lot of white tissue in there, tendon, ligament. A lot of nerves. So all through your hips, you've got about 15 different pressure points in one glute, 15 pressure points in the other glute, and that translates right through into that tensor fasciae lata. So that's felt a bit nervy, right? It's not a bad thing. Just trying to get those nerves to relax. Stop sending so many signals to your tissues so they become tensive. We don't want that. I teach them to relax. It's what the trigger point therapy is all about. It's relaxing your nervous system. If you find a real good spot, stay there. All right, give it a good 30 to 60 seconds. Alrighty. All right, so it's a bit of trigger point therapy team for our knees, our ankles, or calves, and just the front of our hips. Let's get into a bit of a series of stretches now. All right, now I would encourage you to do yoga this week as well. Make sure you are hitting that. All right, if you need more of a guided session, let's go get the psoas now. So this is the other big trouble spot, right? The hip flexor. You would have seen me do this a lot. And what I want to do here is I want to go at sort of the inguinal line, which is the inside of the hip. So we're just going to go like this. All right, so we're in our normal sort of hip flexor stretch, or Spider-Man pose. And then from here, I'm just going to open my hip and I'm trying to lean on the inside crest of the pelvis. Hold here. You may feel a stretch to the other side as well, which is good. And then turn front on. And then you can drop right to the outside. Get your QL if you've got tight QLs. That tensor fasciae lata again, squeeze the bum. And just repeat. All right, so into the inside crest of the hips. Then to the front. Then to the outside. If you want to do that more, go ahead and do that for 3 to 5 sets and then do it up. Do switch to the other side. So front, linear, inside, gross. Lateral, medial, sorry. That's lateral. Unlocking your hips is a godsend, guys, when you're running. You've got nice freedom through your hips. you're going to run so much more efficiently. If you're tight in your hips, you're going to be very restricted. You're going to feel fatigued quickly. No good. And of course, you become an injury risk to yourself as well. So unlock your hips. Show those hips some love. Okay, another magic one for the hips, the frog stretch. We are going to kick this one out nice and wide, set those feet out, and then just drop it down here, right? Can't look cool in this stretch, that's for sure. Drop it down. It's got to stay here for a good 2 minutes to get this tissue to release. So it's kind of more of a joint stretch than a tissue stretch. The inside line of the hips. That's where a lot of things go wrong, by the way. Now with this one, what you can do is create a bit of traction with the stretch. So try and tuck your tailbone and push your hips back. Gross. And then when you're ready, release and tuck your abs and reset. Hurts everywhere, hurts in your sacroiliac, hurts on the inside of the hips. It's magic. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Bring it out of there. Let's build on that. All right, old gymnastic stretch. As wide as you can kick it out. All right, and so we're going to get into more of your upper glute, hamstrings now. So in your wide position, to straddle from here, chest out, and walk forward. That's the money. Now, as you're doing this, try and pull your toes back towards your body. Yes. Always, if you're really, really inflexible, you can bend your knees a bit, all right, and try and get that lean on as much as you can. The more you lean, the more lower back comes into it, all right? The more restricted you are, it's probably going to be your hamstrings. So if you need to button off the hamstrings to get the forward flexion, the bend, all right, that's good. Just go there. This is an amazing stretch. One of those things that over time you get really good really quickly, but you got to do it daily if you want to feel the positive impact of it. But it can really decompress your spine and unlock a lot of the issues with the hips. What's so popular in gymnastics. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice team, very nice. All right, cross one leg over the other like this. Let's go get the glutes and the lower back. So reach through the gap, off, shoulders down, and hold on to that stretch. All right, then when you're ready, guys, let's go get the lower back. Pull one knee up towards your chest. Boom. Right across the line of your body, steering out this way. Try and stretch. And let's do the same on the other side. Cross one leg over the top, reach through the gap, off, grab it, shoulders down. If you're really, really tight in your glutes, you can do this, all right? Or if you're uber tight, you might want a towel and you can pull on that, but try to get that stretch up, all right? So 90 degrees if possible, so you get as much stretch out of your glute as you can. All right, the same thing on the other side. Trunk rotation, steering out in the opposite direction. Now you can, of course, hold those for longer team, but I'm just going to work you through these, and feel free to repeat this stretch again. I'm going to do it every day for the next couple of days just to make sure that I can survive. But let's finish with 2 biggies. Okay, my absolute favorites. When it comes to running, the couch stretch. So the couch stretch, you're going to need something to anchor your foot against. The wall is perfect. Just have something soft for your knees, like a mat or a towel. And then from here, we're stepping up and we are tucking our tailbone under. All right, so we're going for as much flexor stretch as we can. The more vertical you get the shin, the better. And if you can't stand up, just come down and hit that bottom, that 45-degree position again. But ideally, we're up here. It's going to pull right down the front of those quads. That is the absolute business when it comes to unlocking your hips. Now, ideally, guys, I get you to do that for a sort of minimum 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Or you can just do 30-second repeats. If it's really painful for you, squeezing your bum, tucking your tailbone under, crank that stretch up. Oh yeah, that's the business. Remember, do some repeats if you need to really get into those hip flexors. I definitely encourage you to get those hip flexors. And the last one I want to show you before we wrap this up is just a down dog scorpion. So the beauty of the down dog is we can get the back of the knees, the popliteals, we can get the hamstrings, and we can get the ankles at the same time. All right, so the scorpion works like this. We had our down dog shape. Flattest back, you can give me ankles as close to the floor as you can go. But then from here, what's going to happen when one leg goes up and around? So I try to push my head through the hole, bend my leg around the corner. That is a business stretch, up and round. All right, and you would hold that for at least a good 10 to 15 seconds. And again, we're just running some repeats there. All right, so that's a little stretching series you can run, team. Start off with the trigger point therapy, then finish off with the soft tissue work, all right, around those sort of passive holds with the traction exercises. Do that every day, all right? Just make sure that your body is well prepared to go for this run. You're probably going to run it a little bit more intensely than when you would run the other ones. All right, so we just want to make sure that everything is ready to rock and roll. We don't get injured, and we have a good run. Peace. See you soon, team.